Welcome back to Digital Trends coverage of CES 2018 live, not only on YouTube, but on Facebook. Make sure you're subscribing along and following Facebook so you don't miss a thing, because we'll give you notifications when we go live, which is all the time because we're covering everything here at CES, including crowdfunding, which is going to be a big thing. And to talk about that, Drew Prindle is back at the table talking tech with me, which is great. And also from Kickstarter, we've got the Director of Technology and Design, Julio Terra. Hi, Julio.
Hi.
So what's the latest and greatest with Kickstarter?
Well, I think for us, CES is always a big moment. I think this year we have close to 250 products that were funded and brought to life on Kickstarter exhibiting at CES. And so it's always exciting to be here and connect with all these creators, get to see the latest versions of their devices, and just meet with a bunch of other people in our ecosystem that we don't get to see every day.
All like your little proteges. You're like, grow, children, grow.
That's right, and it's exciting. I mean, a lot of things that I get to see a lot as videos before. I get to talk to a lot of creators. Now I get to come and play with their devices and see the drawing robots and all that good, crazy stuff.
So you guys have a booth this year, which is a new thing, right?
It is. It's our first time ever. We're really excited about that. For us, we love, at our core is celebrating creativity. And so we're at CES, by and large, you have companies coming and showing the latest things that they've created that are in market or that are coming to the market. And what we wanted to do is really focus on the process by which things come to market. And so we've, aside from showing it, we have a few products in our booth, but we're doing programming around having creators talk about the manufacturing journey and talk about the process, the challenges, and things that they learn, so that other startups, around the world can, take those learnings and hopefully can help them avoid some of those challenges.
So yeah, who's at your booth? You had a few cool things on display when I visited. Which Kickstarter projects are there right now?
Yeah, I think one that we were just talking about, Sisyphus, is this amazing table where it's essentially a drawing robot a table with a drawing robot, but the robot is actually drawing things with sand. So it's almost like a mandala feel. It's a very zen. It's hard to describe it. I think but it's one of my favorite Kickstarter products of all time. The creator is actually an artist. He does kinetic sculptures, and this was his first foray into products. That's kind of the top of my list. But we actually have more than one drawing robots. We have another one called Giotto, which is a drawing robot that just uses a whiteboard. What's really special about this drawing robot is beyond just kind of being able to send notes that it can draw. The creator of Giotto has this program called 360 Days of Illustrations, and you actually can every day get an illustration that's been curated, so your Giotto every day will jot a little illustration for you from illustrators from around the world. A really kind of amazing robot. Just two other really quick ones that I want to shout out. One of them, because one of the things we're really excited about that we've seen come to life in the last year is these wearables that are not about tracking you, but that are trying to kind of hack your body rhythms to make you feel more alert or to help you, change your sense of temperature. So there's a bracelet on our booth, a wearable called Ember, and what it does is it actually changes the temperature of this wearable on your wrist, and it even sometimes pulsates the temperature so that it helps you feel cooler or feel warmer. And that's the kind of, I'm big into wearable technology, and that's something that we've seen more recently that really kind of is getting us excited.
Yeah, I actually got a chance to wear that Ember, the Ember Wave. They sent me a prototype version after they finished production, and it blew my mind. I did not believe that it was going to work.
Yes. When
they first sent it to me, because they say it cools you down, but it doesn't actually physically cool down like your core body temperature. It's really just tricking your brain.
Is that because you think that you're too hot a lot of the time?
Yeah.
Fair enough. It's a cool device.
Did your mom ever tell you oh, you feel too hot, run your wrist under a cold tap?
No.
No, never. That was only my mom.
She said harden up.
All right.
You've got this.
Well,
Stop complaining.
it feels like you put your wrist under a cold tap.
Got it.
That's basically
Oh,
what
that's
it feels
really
like.
cool.
It has
Yeah.
that same
That is
psychological effect of like,
Kickstarter's evolving a lot in itself. Usually with Kickstarter, you've got a great idea, you make a video, you put it up on Kickstarter, and you pray that you hit your benchmark in 30 days.
Yep.
But that's not the case anymore. It's so much more than that. Just how is Kickstarter expanding to help those startups?
Well, there's a lot of things we're doing. At Kickstarter, we want to help startups, but we also want to help creators beyond that. I think we have all these communities that we're serving, and we've recently launched a service called Drip that also is a subscription service. So I think that one ends up being more of a service that's really valuable to designers and engineers doing more education type work, open source type work. It's something we're really excited to see in the future. One thing that we've started focused on startups and helping startups prepare for manufacturing before they come to Kickstarter to raise money is a program called Hardware Studio. And it's a program that we've developed in partnership with Avnet and Dragon Innovation. Avnet is a company that helps startups and large companies design products that involve electronics and also source the parts for those products. And Dragon Innovation is a company that helps companies of all sizes figure out manufacturing, and both through tools like online tools as well as through consulting and other types of services. And we've partnered with them to create a program that helps. There's two parts of it. One is education, and it helps just provide like education resources that anyone can access, and another part is more of a hands-on program called Connection, where a startup can apply to get assistance in various different ways, because the hardware manufacturing journey is so complex and it is so difficult, and we've seen creators struggle in the past. I mean, we've been seeing amazing products come to life on Kickstarter since 2010, and so this is one of our first programs really trying to address that.
Sounds like it's almost a scholarship. Like if you really believe in the product, then it's like we're going to pull all resources and help lift it as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's we're trying to make it not as exclusive as a scholarship, but I think the idea is really providing education tools and then helping creators once they've reached a certain point in their journey, and that Avnet and Dragon can offer them resources that can help them take the next steps or plan for the next steps. Then the idea is to hopefully make that accessible to any creator at that point in their journey.
So it's kind of like a accelerator / like mentorship program kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like a virtual accelerator.
Right on. So I want to take a step back real quick and talk about Drip, you mentioned real quick. This is one of the biggest things that you guys have launched as, like, it's the newest Kickstarter product since Kickstarter, right?
It is.
Could you tell us a little bit more about what Drip is and like what it means for the larger crowdfunding scene?
Absolutely. I mean, I think, Kickstarter, you think about projects. Drip, we think about people. So, Drip is about like people funding their practices. So, that can mean in the world of technology and in the world of design, that could be, like, again, open source is something that I brought up. Those are the kind of things that we want to see there. Also, like people who are doing design or technology research. Unfortunately, the people who I'm talking to, I can't identify who they are right now about these drips, but the idea here is really like finding different ways that that these people, companies can have access to building community in a more sustainable long-term fashion, but also raising funds in a sustainable long-term fashion. This is really though more targeted to, at this point, smaller startups and smaller creators in the design and tech world. But we're super excited to, like, it's so new that we are still yet figuring out what this will grow into, and we're just now starting to dip our toes into like, what is the way that creators in the design and tech world can really leverage this service. And so we'll see in 2018, where we can get with that. So next year, let's talk more about this.
So functionally though, how does it work? Like, so I log on, I go on Drip. Can I like just follow a creator and then I get updates whenever they do something? Is that how it works?
The idea is it is that way, but the idea is that you would then subscribe to that creator, and you could subscribe by offering $1 a month. A creator might set that like the subscription is a monthly subscription, or it might be a subscription. We have some creators that we're working with that there are design studios that are going to be offering like STL of prototypes, that they release. And so for that type of drip, you would actually get charged every time they release a new STL and prototype that you can kind of hack and have on your own. So that's the idea, is that you go there, you can just find somebody who you might already know and respect and are a fan of, or you could go there and discover new people who are doing interesting work, and this becomes a place where you can support them in a small or even bigger way. So that's the, I think though, again, I do see it growing more in a place where you can just follow somebody, even if you're not wanting to pay to subscribe, and becomes just a community building tool. I think it's just, we're right now in the private beta, so right now you can only use Drip if you're invited in, sometime probably late Q1 or so. We don't have an exact date for the full release, but it's going to be, in the next few months, that's going to happen.
Right on.
I want to actually know numbers here. Say I've got a brilliant idea and I want to bring it to Kickstarter. How would I go about doing that? And the second thing is, how many new Kickstarters are born every single month?
That is, at any given time, between just thinking design and tech, we have about 1,000 design and tech projects that are live at any given time. About 500 in design and 500 in tech. It's actually a pretty even split. So if you want to, if you're interested in taking your startup to Kickstarter, the first thing that you absolutely must have is a prototype. At Kickstarter, you do have to have a prototype that you can demo on your project page, and you can show the current state of that working prototype. That prototype needs to be able to show core functionality that you envision this product having. So that's really kind of the number one most important thing that we require. And then a Kickstarter campaign takes a lot of work. So then it requires the work of building out your narrative, because I think designers and engineers make beautiful products. They're not always great at telling the stories of their product. And so that's something that we always tell our community. It's something you need to be ready to work really hard at. I mean, you guys are storytellers, you guys, so you guys know how it takes a lot of time and effort and skills.
Crucial element as well. I couldn't actually build a prototype. That's not where my strengths are. So it's amazing to see sort of how much goes into making and selling a product.
Yeah, and I think creators, learn so much around that. And then the last element is, it's something that they do on Kickstarter, but often we recommend that creators start that process before, is the building community. Getting people excited. If you're Apple, you can launch a product, everybody in the world will tune in, and that's great. If you're a startup, even if you're working on something really interesting, chances are when you tell people, hey, I'm making this, most people are not going to pay a lot of attention. So if you give yourself, months or sometimes a year in advance, that you start building that community, start connecting with people who are interested in that kind of work, it can really make a huge difference for you to be successful at reaching that goal of yours.
Now it's building, sales, and marketing.
Yes.
It's a whole thing. This is what it's like to have a startup, though, right?
It is. It's like a crash course in creating, a business. That's what we tell creators. I mean, we want everyone to succeed, but whether you succeed or not, you're going to learn so much about your product, about how to talk about it, about how to connect with people about it, about what level of interest people have in it. So, but it is definitely a very intense. Just phenomenon.
With this all new information that's being unleashed and unveiled at CES, where can people find more about the Kickstarter updates?
So I mean, I think the best place for people to go to find out about what's going on at Kickstarter is, come to Kickstarter. We have a blog on Kickstarter where we're always kind of talk about new things that are happening on the site, talking about things that we're really excited about. We have our editorial team that's often kind of talking to creators that are doing things that we think are interesting. And we have a lot of things up our sleeve for 2018. We're working on a lot of things that we're really excited about. Again, can't share a lot beyond Drip. That's
you want to say it though.
I do want to say it because it's I've been at the company for 4.5 years, and I think we've matured a lot. And I think this year, similar to Drip, it's a year where we have our sights set on a lot of innovation that we want to do in terms of better serving creators in our community. And for me, design and tech is my passion and is the community that I'm focused on. So that's what I'm really excited about.
Julio, thank you so much for joining us here at Digital Trends at CES. We've got more crowdfunding conversation coming up after this. Oh, alliteration just bit me then.